Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to a response video. Yesterday morning, Bloodwurth dropped a video. For those of you who don't know, that's Unscripted Unchained. Go check out his channel. I'm in at least one of his games for the last almost 3 years, I want to say now. And we play a bunch of different games on his Discord and Roll20. And he went in and let us all know what games he'd like to be in as a player, you know, the forever GM thing. And while I have suffered from that syndrome as well, lately I've been a little luckier and able to be in a few more games. But instead of just targeting specific games I'd like to play, because I'm kind of running out of specific games, I'm looking more for genres and games that probably don't exist or I'm unaware of them, and I know I'm going to get some answers that I can kind of predict. Like right off the bat, when it comes to fantasy, I'm totally burnt on the mud sword low fantasy. Even though I am running a Savage Sword game by the Red Room, it's more an exercise on narrative and seeing if I can capture the feel of Robert E. Howard's style of storytelling. And so far my players seem to be enjoying the heck out of it. But what I'm looking for in fantasy is high fantasy, and I know the first thing people are going to say is Earth Dawn, and I'm like, yeah, everything I heard about it I don't like. So I'm looking for something where the magic users aren't penalized for being magic users and playing magic users, and where the actual creation of magic items is not just feasible but encouraged. And then when it comes to sci-fi, I've played a lot of sci-fi games. I've run a lot of sci-fi games. But what I've always craved is a planet-hopping epic quest, kind of a like Rod of 7 parts, if you will. You got to go to planet A to get this part, then planet B to get that part, until you finally uncover the secret of the ancients, or some other epic style quest where the exploration of strange new worlds is really the focus. You know, wondering at the weird environments, and you know, maybe meeting, you know, interesting alien races. And then with the Western genre, I can actually say I want to play Wretched Country. I love it. I think it is the best Western game I've ever come across, and I own almost every single one of them. If I don't own it, I've probably never heard of it, but I've got well over a dozen different Western style games in my collection. Obviously, you know, Deadlands comes to mind, but I'm looking for something a little different, a little, I don't, less Shadows of Brimstone and more Jonah Hex, if that makes any sense to you folks. Then when it comes to horror, I'm already slated to be in Omenau's Alien game, and that scratches all the itches I have when it comes to horror, because it allows me to meld sci-fi, which, you know, other than a underwater horror game, I can't think of a more terrifying environment. And then we come to the modern or contemporary genre, which there's only one game for that for me, and that's Top Secret SI or Top Secret 2nd Edition. Everything else sort of pales in comparison. Amazing Adventures really looks on paper like it does it all, but in play it's really it kind of dropped the ball. I'm going to take a look at Amazing Adventures Volume 2, or 2nd Edition I should say, because I do want to try and write my my infamous Nazi dinosaur cults of Antarctica scenario, and maybe run that. And Brian, if you're listening to this, I'm going to need your help on that one. There's nobody better who could really pull that off besides me than you. So hit me up. Maybe we'll talk about it on your live stream coming up real soon. Then superhero, anything that's not, back alley vigilanteism. I want something cosmic, super powered level. Being able to fly in space and eye beams or laser beams out of your hands and just something really gonzo, really Rom or Silver Surfer or Star-Lord, especially Star-Lord, where which would nicely tie in with the sci-fi, where the original Star-Lord, even though he had a ship, he was able to fly in space and do all kinds of crazy crap, and he would go from planet to planet to planet, kind of like a intergalactic Texas Ranger, righting wrongs and getting the girl and then moving on to the next planet to right the next wrongs. And then last but not least, I know I probably missed some genres, but if I missed them, I'm obviously not that psyched to be in a game like that. I've got to hit up Gonzo, which, as you guys know, I'm one of the archdukes of Gonzo. And when it comes to Gonzo, there's only four things I think of. Obviously, that's Arduin, the absolute emperor of Gonzo, hence the company Emperor's Choice. But then there's Barrows and Borderlands, which I'm going to be running, but I would really love to be in a Barrows and Borderlands game, but I don't know when I could jump into a game with my schedule. But hopefully in the new year, maybe Matt and those guys will reach out to me and say, hey, we need a thief. You're our man. And then I'll be in. And then, of course, there's two fellow YouTubers that we all know and love, and that's, of course, Avenger Satanis and the OGGM, who I'm actually in OGGM's game every alternating Saturday. Wouldn't miss it for the world, and he's one of the funniest GMs I've ever met. And, of course, Avenger, if I could get into one Avengers games online or in person one of these days, that's on my bucket list. But that's what I'm looking forward to playing this year. If you guys are needing a scoundrel or a sorcerer, not the newfangled one that can just do magic just cause, that's no. I mean tried and true studied magic cube user, wizard par excellence, someone who knows how to sling a spell and create some cool ass magic items. Let me know. Otherwise, I will keep on running my games on Discord and occasionally be in some games on my channel. For example, George is running us through Star Wars D6, but I know that one's probably coming to an end in the next couple of months or so, in which case we'll be doing something new, probably Omen's Alien game. But I hope you guys get into the games that you're dreaming about playing or running, depending on your state of eternal GM disease, or whether you're an eternal player. Go ahead and let us know in the comment section if you got some slots you need filled for an old grognard. Let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys all in the funny papers.